Good evening, folks. Hey, this is Dave Loves Comics Man, and I'm just wanted to sit around here and want to do a little DC comic news update. And the name of this video is the DC plan is not to have a plan, and that's not being negative. I know it sounds kind of not real positive, but this is the thing: DC, since they doesn't have a plan, all of the separate film directors and producers, all the hardworking people have decided they're going to make their own particular plan and be underneath the DC tree. And the weirdest thing about this, what has ended up happening, and it may be kind of, upsetting to some folks, to some folks it may not be upsetting, but there is almost 3 or 4 different, or maybe 5 DC universes going on right now at the same time. And the thing is, since they're not giving us a map, you have to kind of sit down and figure out what exactly is what is happening where, and then. And the weird thing is, a lot of the directors and the actors and the producers, they don't know either. But this is going back. One of the most important factors of this, and I know it sounds kind of weird, is, but I just thought about this. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, is the spearhead of all of these multi-universes. My man Black Adam is it. Because going back, and this is the most important thing, Dwayne Johnson was tapped to play Shazam many moons ago. But then he realized I have to split time with another identity of another child person. And so I think he said, well, wait a minute. The villain, Black Adam, is more in line with his sensibilities. Maybe villains will make an anti-hero. And that was changed. And so Dwayne Johnson still produced Shazam. The producer of the director that came on, from horror background. So he played ball, and he put a lot of nuggets connecting to the DC cinematic universe at the time. A lot of Batman reference, a lot of Superman reference. He even had a spot for Henry Cavill to be in the film. But that didn't fall out. And this is the thing. When a major company hires you to be a director, you're paid and you are getting a production budget, which is supposed to also finance the actors that you want. So like when the Russo brothers had to do the Infinity War 1 and 2. I mean, Disney worked out the payments. I mean, they didn't say, okay, now out of your production movie money, go get Iron Man, go get Chris Pratt, go get Tom Holland, and go, that cast was huge. Them contracts was already worked out. 9 deals, 7 films, 9 deals, 8 films, cameos, things going forward. So when it came to Shazam, Henry Cavill had a 4-picture deal. He had 3 films, and he didn't want his last film or cameo to be in Shazam without a longer contract. He thought he was up and coming Mission Impossible, and that didn't work out. Now, all that to say, the director, who respectively, and even Dwayne Johnson's production was like, well, we just use a stand-in person, someone to represent Superman in the movie, and they use a stunt double, and they may do with what they got. I mean, he's still a character in the movie, but that moment right there, and this is an important thing, we cannot rely on people contracts. Can we get them? We shouldn't have to beg or ask unless it's a time thing. But if it's over a money thing, if we all gonna be on our own DC cinematic universe, I shouldn't have to be trying to chase down who gonna be in the movie, who not gonna be. You can use him, but you can't use him. You can't use him. So I think now, The Rock, and even with the Shazam, because this is the thing when I say about, I keep repeating, The Rock has 4 movies in the DC cinematic universe. He produces Shazam, Shazam 2, and the Black Adam. And you already know that it's going to be a crossover at some point, because that's the Rock universe, in the DC thing. And I think if you look what he has learned, and a lot of other people, I've got to do my own contracts, get some great talent at a great price, build a rapport with them that they'll come back and we'll work things out. So Shazam was already a family they have other superhero folks. So if you want to see other people in this universe, we got them on the cast. We've got them already hired. When you look at Shazam 2, they got 3 villains in the movie coming up. Helen Mirren's one of them. Lucy Liu is in it. The young lady from, I think, West Side Story is in it. She's in the role. So that's got your cameos in it. So that's one branch of it. So if you can't do it with heroes, you do it with villains. And then with this Black Adam, Justice League Society, Justice Society, Adam Smash and a lot of other folks. And so those are going to be his working team. If you want to get the Justice League, but these are some DC superhero appearances that we're going to work with. We don't have to ask Batman or Superman or Wonder Woman. Maybe she'll make an appearance, maybe she won't. But you concrete it. So that's going to be that is I call it the rock verse, in the DC world. Now you look at the Batman movie. We always say, man, 2 villains is more than enough. But, Matt Reeves, when he got the Batman movie, it wasn't going to be in the continuity, it wasn't going to be in the Snyderverse. I mean, I think he said, I have an idea, because he started processing with them around 2018 with the Shazam thing. 2022, the movie's coming out. He got, Riddler, Catwoman, and the Penguin. That's 3 villains. No Batman movies ever had that many villains in it. I mean, high profile in it. And Matt Reeves. This is the Gotham world. So it's going to be in Gotham. This is going to be the Reeves verse. So that's one component of it. Then you look also, The Flash, 2022. I know people make the comment, this is going to, Flashpoint is going to erase the time, it's going to erase the Snyder universe. And Ismarilla said, he said, it'll always be in your heart. I don't know what that means, man. I got that on my shelf too. But the main thing with the guy who did the Flash movie, who he did it, so he's nostalgic. He said, well, you know what? We're lucky to have Ben Affleck, because all of these directors want to do 3 or 4 films. They want to do at least a sequel, at least 3 films, to take it further, maybe a spinoff. So with this Flash movie, his thing hit the Flash movie. I got Ben Affleck. I don't know how many films he wants to do. He said he doesn't want to do anymore. Henry Cavill, he's still negotiating contracts. They're still working it out. So I got to make do. I want to do my DC superhero team up movie. So it's like, well, I'm gonna go from ground one. I got the Supergirl, make my version of Supergirl, and then maybe get this we got a Batgirl. She's in the DC universe. Put her in there. I mean, they connecting with the people, the fine folks who making the Batgirl movie, and so that's that little mini universe. They're gonna combine, pick and choose, and really, when it all folds up together, in a weird way, you got the Michael Keaton. So whatever price they was willing to pay him, he's gonna be a little long term. He's gonna do some cameo stuff, and whatever they do with Michael Keaton, it's gonna be a lot of special effects based on equipment. He's gonna be the man behind the desk, so they can work not a full-fledged Batman at full frontal assault, flying planes and stuff like that. I mean, it's gonna be a low-key Batman, in the shadows, but he's willing to play for it, and for a couple of films he's gonna be spread out, doing some other appearances. But the thing is, the folks in the Snyderverse and in this new one, I think they just said, we just can't rely on bringing the band back together. Jason Moore, he got his Aquaman. Here's another perfect example. He's got a whole little team of characters. He got some new actors and actresses playing DC Cinematic Universe. So that's his super team. And the weird thing about Aquaman, Atlanteans, everyone down there underwater has got, abnormal or super strength, and everyone in Atlantis is some, you can come up with a name or someone up with it, known in the comic books, even like Willem Dafoe's character, they superpower people. It's like Wakanda. Anybody in Wakanda can probably, knock me off my behind. So, man, I'm excited to see anybody in that world. And like I say, Jason Moore can do the same thing with Atlantis. But he's got some name folks and talent, so he's got his own little league. He can't rely, hey, maybe I get my man Cyborg back in. I don't, Ray Fisher, I don't know, that, he got issues with that, not Ray Fisher himself, I mean, the brother he is, but they just for some reason, kind of canceled him out. Gal Gadot, she's busy doing a lot of movies, and maybe she'll make a cameo and stuff. But I think Aquaman says, well, you know what, I'm in the world. I don't want to be in a separate world, but I got to surround myself with some other DC characters. The bringing the band together. Uniting the Seven just didn't work out, and moving on that. So I know people like Warner Brothers, man, we need to boycott and things like that. But people's lives is different from, if you look at the behind scenes business, it's sometimes more fascinating than the movie. We don't have to, take what they want. People can boycott and do whatever they, do and fight for it. But when you look at some of the business scenes, you kind of go, well, it was kind of set up to be like this. I mean, they had always said that Supergirl, they was going to focus on Supergirl and away from Henry Cavill. They even got two different alternative, black Supermans floating around. So who knows what. So I just, I take it movie by movie, but the big plan is no plan. But I think all of these folks is like, we gonna have to buckle down. We're gonna make our own world. But I think the big prime one to me is, I'm looking for, The Rock's entertainer in it. He's big enough star to get some other friends or folks, whoever connected to it. I mean, he's got, Helen Mirren, from the Fast and Furious, working Lucy Liu, coming up with it. And that can open up Pierce Brosnan. You got James Bond in the movie, and a whole bunch. So he got heroes and villains. So this is official Justice Society movie. And then him with, battling up with Shazam. Maybe Shazam can bring some other characters and stuff. They may, they may have to mix it up. I mean, I think it'll be some knee-deep DC Guardians style, some characters that we're not familiar with, and make them, either, charismatic and entertaining and bring on the set. We got a lot of stars that can, fill in the ring. And DC, it's knee-deep with characters, but it's just, I know people envision, the original Justice League, 18 and reunited, and it's too many nuts and bolts in it. People can still be hopeful of it, but behind the scenes, I just don't think it's really, going to be foreseeable. But I do don't want to make this too long. One of the things I will say, and I do think that when it all closes down, when it all goes down, I think DC, for the Superman, if Matt Reeves makes a lot of money, if the Matt Reeves makes a ton of money, I'm going to emphasize, then that's not going to be good for the Henry Cavill Superman. Because if Batman does real well and Matt Reeves has planned to do 2 more films, they're going to let Matt Reeves do those 3 films, and then they're going to have someone someone similar to Matt Reeves. They're going to have a powerhouse director, and it's a lot of talk about the guy who directed Mission Impossible films and stuff like that, had, made propositions. A lot of directors is coming up with how they would do Superman. So it's just like they're publicly putting their resume out there, and I think it's going to be another Superman movie, and it's going to be a reboot. I mean, they did it 2005 with Brandon Routh, and then they come, 2005 years later, 2012. No, not 5 years later. My math is a little off. 7 years later, 2012. I think it was 2013. 2012, 2013, they redid it. But it wasn't that big of a gap. It wasn't like no 10 years, it wasn't no 10 years. They did the Spider-Man. Brandon Roth, okay, you ain't work out. Let's go. Okay, next. You got Henry Cavill. He ain't had a solo movie since then. And once the Edge come off, they're going to do a recasting of it. Krypton, right back over again. Maybe they may not do the origin story and just say this is a man who came to Earth 30 years ago to save us all. And that's kind of funny. And then I think they're going to stem off and then branch out with that, and maybe, it'll be a, HBO show. But then again, it has to be a movie if they reboot it. But the Superman and Lois that's on television right now, that is, what? If that's Superman we got right now, I ain't no shame in streaming it on HBO Max or when it comes on CW, because that is a CW show that's not a CW show. I mean, I love CW, but that's a big league Superman. They spent some money on that show, but I know it's not the same. People, I want brown M&Ms, you're getting yellow. So I mean, it's apples and oranges. But that is my take on the DC cinematic update, and I appreciate you guys listening and throwing it out there, and be safe out there, mask up, and be safe and careful out there. Take care, peace.